You are standing in a world drenched in a perpetual, humid twilight. The air, thick and low in oxygen, smells of wet ferns and rot. And the ground beneath your feet is a carpet of damp, primitive mosses. A shadow detaches itself from a thicket of colossal hostiles, and you see it clearly. A 15-foot-long predator, built like a crocodile, but walking on pillar-like legs held directly beneath its body. Its massive skull, filled with blade-like teeth, scans the horizon. This is Pseudosuchia, an apex predator from the dawn of the age of reptiles, and it is not a dinosaur. Ever wonder what it would truly feel like to see an ecosystem science says could exist? So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It's only if you find the journey we're about to take is a valuable one. Invite viewers to share where they are watching from, and which evolutionary what-if fascinates them the most. Now, let's journey into a world that never was, and uncover a story of life's incredible potential. The world you've stepped into is the late Triassic, some 220 million years ago. This is not the world of dinosaurs you know. In fact, you have to look very carefully to even see them. They are here, but they are the understudies, the background players in a drama dominated by a different dynasty. This is the empire of the Pseudosuchia crocodile-line archosaurs. They are the undisputed rulers of the supercontinent Pangaea. You see their success everywhere. Lumbering, armored Aetosaurs, looking like a cross between an armadillo and a crocodile, use their pig-like snouts to root up tough vegetation. In the rivers, giant, ambush-predating phytosaurs wait for anything foolish enough to come for a drink. And patrolling the land are the terrifying Rauisuchians, like the one you just saw, the lions of the Triassic, and the dinosaurs. They are small, marginal creatures, living in the shadows of these giants. You catch a glimpse of one now, a slender, bipedal animal, no bigger than a turkey, darting through the undergrowth. This is their place in this ecosystem, fast, agile, but utterly outclassed. In our timeline, their story is one of incredible fortune. A mysterious, cataclysmic extinction event at the end of the Triassic would wipe the slate clean, eliminating their giant Pseudosuchian rivals and handing the world to them on Earth's silver platter. But here, that roll of the dice will come up differently. The great filter is about to fall, but it will not favor the ancestors of Tyrannosaurus and Triceratops. It will instead cement the rule of the true Triassic survivors. The change begins not with a bang, but with a drip, a relentless, heavy humidity that seems to make the very air sweat. You see the sky, once a hazy but bright canvas, curdle into a permanent, bruised grey overcast. Then the rain begins. It is not a cleansing storm, but an oppressive, near-constant drizzle that soaks the world to its bones. This is the dawn of the Carnian Pluvial event, a lost chapter of Earth's history. In our timeline, this million-year-long age of rain was a period of upheaval that spurred the dinosaurs' evolution. But in this world, the dice are cast differently. The rain is not an opportunity. It is a judgment. This is our divergence point. The science behind it is a story of planetary turmoil. Far away, a colossal volcanic province spews unimaginable amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, triggering a runaway greenhouse effect. The oceans warm, the air becomes saturated, and the global weather patterns are thrown into chaos, creating a mega monsoon that drowns the arid heart of Pangaea. The world is becoming a global swamp, and this new environment begins to filter life, sorting the winners from the losers with brutal efficiency. And the winners, you see, are the creatures already built for this world. The Pseudosuchians, with their crocodilian heritage, are in their element. Their robust bodies and more conservative metabolisms are a huge advantage in a world where resources are becoming unpredictable. They are masters of the water's edge. You watch as a hulking Aetosaur, its armor slick with rain, happily bulldozes through the new, soft vegetation of an expanding marshland. The phytosaurs in the rivers find their hunting grounds expanding with every passing decade. The Rauisuchian predators, built for powerful ambush, rather than sustained pursuit, find their prey bogged down in mud, their jobs made easier. For the crocodile-line archosaurs, this isn't an extinction, it's an enthronement. For the dinosaurs, however, it is a death sentence. Their key advantage are light, efficient body plan built for speed, and a high energy, warm-blooded lifestyle becomes an anchor. Their need for constant food is impossible to satisfy in a washed-out world. You see their numbers dwindling, their quick movements replaced with a desperate search for solid ground. The great filter is falling, and its criteria favors the sturdy and the steadfast over the swift and the energetic. The rain continues to fall, washing away not just the soil, but the very future of the dinosaur dynasty. The drizzle that defined a million years finally subsides, and you walk forward through time into a new world. This is the dawn of the Jurassic Period. In our history, this was the moment the dinosaurs, freed from their rivals, exploded across the globe. But here, there is a profound silence where their footfalls should be. The world is lush, green, and teeming with life, but it is an alien Jurassic, built on a different blueprint. The survivors of the Great Rain now inherit the Earth, and their reign will be absolute. This is a textbook case of ecological release. With their primary competitors all but erased, the Pseudosuchia and archosaurs undergo a spectacular adaptive radiation, diversifying to fill every available niche. Evolution, of course, can only work with what is already there. It cannot create new forms from thin air. So, the new rulers of this world are all variations on a successful theme: the robust, powerful, and adaptable crocodile-line body plan. You see the first signs of this grand experiment among the herbivores. The humble, pig-sized Aetosaurs of the Triassic are gone, replaced by their more impressive descendants. You watch a herd of them moving through a forest of giant tree ferns. They are larger now, some the size of cattle, their armor plating more elaborate and forming a near impenetrable shell. Their tusks are longer, better for defense and for stripping bark from trees. They are on their way to becoming the dominant plant eaters on the planet. The predators are changing too. The Rauisuchians, once uniformly massive ambush hunters, are beginning to specialize. You see a new, leaner form, its legs longer and more slender, chasing smaller prey across a floodplain. It's a move towards a more active, pursuit-based lifestyle. In the dense forests, you catch a glimpse of another descendant, lower to the ground, more cat-like in its silent stalking. The raw power of the crocodilian lineage, being honed and refined, branching out to create a diverse guild of carnivores. This is no longer just a world of survivors. It is an empire in the making. The foundation has been laid for a new dynasty, an unbroken, 150 million year reign not of dinosaurs, but of the true crocodile kings. Time moves forward, and the Jurassic landscape matures. In any ecosystem, a powerful evolutionary pressure pushes life toward an ultimate defense: sheer size. In a world of predators, there is a simple advantage to growing too large to be attacked. In our timeline, this pressure gave rise to the long-necked sauropods, the largest land animals in Earth's history. But here, the sauropods are a failed experiment, a ghost lineage. The niche of colossal herbivore lies vacant, and as nature abhors a vacuum, the crocodile-line archosaurs step up to claim the throne. You feel their approach long before you see them. A low, rhythmic tremor vibrates through the soreness of your feet, the ground shaking with the footfalls of giants. Then, they emerge from a forest of towering cycads. They are the descendants of the Aetosaurs, but they have been forged by 50 million years of evolution into living fortresses. These are the Indomituscutum unconquerable shields. The largest among them are the size of a bus, a 30-ton moving mountain of bone and keratin. Their ancestral armor has become a near impenetrable carapace of interlocking bony plates, with great, curving spikes jutting from their shoulders and hips. To understand this creature, you must look at how evolution solved a similar problem in our world. This is a breathtaking example of convergent evolution. To support their immense weight, their legs have become massive, graviportal pillars, just like those of an elephant or a sauropod. It is a simple matter of physics. Biology must obey the laws of engineering. Their small heads, protected by a solid shield of bone, end not in a soft snout, but in a powerful, shearing beak. perfectly designed to slice through the toughest Jurassic vegetation. You watch as one of them effortlessly fells a large tree fern with its immense weight, then methodically crops the fronds. They are not just inhabitants of this landscape, they are the engineers of it. Their migrations carve highways through the endless forests, and their grazing maintains vast, open plains. They are the slow, beating heart of this alternate Jurassic, a seemingly invincible dynasty of armored titans. But for every shield, evolution inevitably forges a sword. You watch the herd of living tanks, and it seems impossible that anything could threaten them. But the story of life is a story of a relentless arms race. For every fortress, a siege engine is built. A deep silence falls over the plain. The grinding sound of the herd's feeding stops, replaced by low, nervous rumbles. The giants pull closer together, their spiked flanks forming a wall of shields. They are all watching the edge of the tree line, and now you see why. A shape emerges from the shadows, a creature of impossible scale and ferocity. This is the apex predator of this alternate Jurassic, the sword forged to break the shield. It is a descendant of the Rauisuchians, but it has become something far more terrifying. This is a bipedal carnivore, 40 feet long and weighing 9 tons, a direct ecological equivalent of Tyrannosaurus rex. But this is no dinosaur. Its skin has the pebbled, scaly texture of a crocodile, and rows of bony scutes run down its powerful back. Its skull is massive and deep, but its true weapons are its arms. Unlike the vestigial limbs of a T-Rex, these are hugely powerful, muscular appendages, ending in 3 enormous, hook-like claws. This is the land shark, the crocodile emperor, a Dinosaurs imperator. To understand how it hunts, you must forget the strategies of a theropod. A Tyrannosaurus was a walking set of jaws. Its entire killing strategy was based on a bone-shattering bite. This creature is a grappler. You watch as it selects its target, a subadult Indomitar scutum. Slightly separated from the herd, it charges with a terrifying burst of speed, its heavy footfalls shaking the ground. It doesn't go for the head or neck. It slams its immense body into the herbivore's flank, and in the same motion, it brings its powerful arms into play. The huge claws dig in, finding purchase between the armored plates, gripping the struggling animal in a death hug. With a colossal flex of muscle, the predator heaves, pulling the 30-ton herbivore off balance. The giant crashes to the ground, exposing its soft, unarmored underbelly. Only then does the Dinosaurs deliver the final bite, a swift, shearing crunch that ends the struggle. It is a different kind of killer for a different kind of world. You pull your perspective back, moving forward in time to the late Cretaceous. The continents are now drifting towards their modern positions, and the climate is warm and wet. A kill has been made, and the victorious Dinosaurs is feeding. But in any ecosystem, a transfer of energy is never a simple affair. A kill is a dinner bell for a whole community. And this world is no different. You see them now, emerging from the brush, packs of smaller, wolf-sized Pseudosuchians, descendants of agile Triassic forms. They are the hyenas of this timeline, waiting for the tyrant to have its fill. This is the new equilibrium, a fully realized food web built on a crocodilian foundation. The niches are all filled, but by unfamiliar players. Where our world had herds of graceful, fast-moving hadrosaurs, this one has droves of finbacks bipedal, herbivorous Pseudosuchians that have evolved tall, skin-covered sails on their backs for display. A striking example of convergent evolution with our own Spinosaurus or Ouranosaurus. They are hunted not by Tyrannosaurs, but by the mid-sized, pack-hunting descendants of the Rauisuchians you saw in the Jurassic. The arms race here is not between speed and agility, but between grappling power and defensive armor. You look to the skies, and they are not empty, but they are silent of birdsong. The air is ruled exclusively by the pterosaurs. Without competition from their avian cousins, they have diversified into an even more spectacular array of forms. Huge, stork-like astarchids stalk the plains, while vast flocks of smaller, gull-like pterosaurs skim the coastal waters. The seas themselves are filled with the familiar marine reptiles plesiosaurs, a mosasaur spot. The coastlines are patrolled by something else, monstrous. 60-foot-long descendants of the Triassic phytosaurs, true river monsters that make a modern saltwater crocodile look like a lizard. This world has a different feel. It is a slower, heavier, more heavily armored world. The dominant evolutionary trend has been towards brute strength and impregnable defense. The co-evolution with plants is different too. Without the specific feeding pressures of dinosaurian herbivores, flowering plants have not radiated as successfully, and the world remains a vast, monotonous landscape of ferns and cycads. It is a perfectly stable, incredibly successful ecosystem that has dominated the planet for over 100 million years, but it has been forged in the stable hothouse of the Mesozoic. It is unprepared for a shock. It is unprepared for a visitor from the cold, dark of space. You pull your perspective back, moving forward in time to the late Cretaceous. The continents are now drifting towards their modern positions, and the climate is warm and wet. A kill has been made, and the victorious Dinosaurs is feeding. But in any ecosystem, a transfer of energy is never a simple affair. A kill is a dinner bell for a whole community, and this world is no different. You see them now, emerging from the brush, packs of smaller, wolf-sized Pseudosuchians, descendants of agile Triassic forms. They are the hyenas of this timeline, waiting for the tyrant to have its fill. This is the new equilibrium, a fully realized food web built on a crocodilian foundation. The niches are all filled, but by unfamiliar players. Where our world had herds of graceful, fast-moving hadrosaurs, this one has droves of finbacks bipedal, herbivorous Pseudosuchians that have evolved tall, skin-covered sails on their backs for display. A striking example of convergent evolution with our own Spinosaurus or Ouranosaurus. They are hunted not by tyrannosaurs, but by the mid-sized, pack-hunting descendants of the Rauisuchians you saw in the Jurassic. The arms race here is not between speed and agility, but between grappling power and defensive armor. You look to the skies, and they are not empty, but they are silent of birdsong. The air is ruled exclusively by the pterosaurs. Without competition from their avian cousins, they have diversified into an even more spectacular array of forms. Huge, stork-like asdarchids stalk the plains, while vast flocks of smaller, gull-like pterosaurs skim the coastal waters. The seas themselves are filled with the familiar marine reptile Splezios, a mosasaur spot. The coastlines are patrolled by something else, monstrous. 60-foot-long descendants of the Triassic phytosaurs, true river monsters that make a modern saltwater crocodile look like a lizard. Section 7. You now stand on the final shore of this lost Mesozoic, looking out at an empire of crocodile-line archosaurs that has known nothing but dominance for 150 million years. It is a world in perfect, brutal equilibrium, but the greatest threats to life often come not from within, but from without. You look up at the sky, and you see a new, unfamiliar star, a pinpoint of light that grows brighter with each passing moment. The Chicxulub asteroid does not care about evolutionary lineages. Its arrival is inevitable, a cataclysmic reset button for the entire planet. The impact and the devastating winter that follows are as terrible here as they were in our own history. The colossal specialists, the Indomitar scutum and the Dinosaurs, are doomed. Their immense bodies require vast amounts of food, and with the world plunged into darkness, their food chain collapses in an instant. Their dynasty, forged over millions of years, is extinguished in a single geological moment. But not all is lost for the Pseudosuchians. Just as their crocodilian cousins survived in our timeline, the smaller, more adaptable lineages here cling to life. The semi-aquatic river dwellers and the small, burrowing generalists weather the storm, their lower metabolisms allowing them to endure the long night. When the dust finally settles and the sun returns, the Cenozoic dawns. The tiny, furry mammals, our own ancestors, emerge from their hiding places, but they do not find the empty world their counterparts in our timeline inherited. They find a planet still prowled by a hardy stock of surviving Pseudosuchians. The age of mammals is not a foregone conclusion. Theirs is a much harder road, an evolutionary journey, where they are not the undisputed heirs, but scrappy insurgents in a world still containing formidable reptilian predators? Could our own primate lineage ever gain a foothold in a world where sleek, terrestrial crocodiles are the dominant hunters? Or would intelligence, if it arose at all, have to wait for the next great extinction? The legacy of the Triassic Survivors is a world where the age of reptiles never truly ended. The journey through this world that never was is coming to an end. You can feel time beginning to flow forward again, pulling you from the humid air of the alternate Cretaceous back to the present. The armored giants fade into mist, and the glint from the crocodile emperor's eye dissolves into a memory. What you leave behind is more than just a thought experiment. It's an appreciation for the sheer contingency of life, the thin thread of chance upon which our own existence hangs. The world we inherited was born from a lucky break in the Triassic turmoil. This world, a world of life's other children, stands as a silent, magnificent testament to the stories that are lost in the deep chasms of geologic time, forever hidden in the shadow of what might have been. The story of life is truly the greatest saga ever told.